Have you ever just stopped and wondered how one single country can have it all? I mean, dense, steamy rainforests, arid thorn scrubs, and even beautiful alpine meadows way up in the mountains. It's this incredible ecological puzzle. So today, we're going to piece it all together and go on an expedition through the amazing diversity of India's natural vegetation.
So, here's our game plan. We'll start by figuring out why India is so diverse in the first place. Then, we'll take a tour of the major forests, discover all the gifts they give us, understand why they're called our planet's green lungs, and finally, we'll talk about how we can protect this amazing natural heritage. All right, first things first. Why is India so incredibly packed with different kinds of plant life? What are the secret ingredients that make up this vibrant green subcontinent?
So, what's the secret recipe here? Well, it's not just one single thing. It's actually this fascinating combination of factors all working together, creating the perfect storm for incredible biodiversity. And here they are. Think of it like a recipe with 6 key ingredients. You've got the physical landscape, so the relief features like mountains and plains, plus the type of soil. Then you add in the climate, temperature, how much sun it gets, that's insolation, and of course rainfall and humidity. If you just tweak the amount of any one of these, you get a totally different ecosystem. It's this unique mix that gives India its amazing range of greenery.
Okay, now for the main event. Let's get our tour started and journey through India's 5 major vegetation zones. Ready to go?
Our very first stop, the tropical evergreen forests. You'll find these super lush rainforests in places that get absolutely drenched with rain, like the slopes of the Western Ghats, parts of Assam up in the northeast, and the Andaman and Nicobar Islands.
The key thing to understand here is just how intense the climate is. I mean, imagine over 200 centimeters of rain a year, with temperatures that stay above 22 degrees Celsius. This hot, humid environment creates these incredible, multi-layered forests, where trees like mahogany and ebony can just soar up to 60 meters or even higher. They form this thick canopy that stays green all year round.
All right, next up we're heading into the most widespread ecosystem in the entire country, the tropical deciduous forests. You might also hear people call them monsoon forests, and for good reason. Their whole life cycle is basically dictated by the seasonal rains.
Now, what really defines these forests is that rhythm of the monsoon. The rainfall here isn't quite as heavy, so to save water during the long dry season, the trees do something pretty remarkable. They shed all their leaves. For about 6 to 8 weeks, the forest just completely transforms. And this is the home of some of India's most valuable trees, like teak, sal, and that amazing-smelling sandalwood.
From the monsoon forests, our journey takes a sharp turn west, right into the arid zones. This is the world of tropical desert vegetation, which you'll find in parts of Rajasthan and Gujarat. Here, water is super scarce, and the whole landscape is dominated by thorn forest and scrubs.
Life out here is all about adaptation. I mean, with less than 70 centimeters of rain a year, plants have evolved these amazing survival strategies. They grow incredibly long roots to tap into deep groundwater, and their leaves are often tiny or waxy, sometimes they're even thorns, all to minimize water loss. This is where you find tough plants like acacia, cactus, and date palms.
Okay, time for a dramatic change of scenery. Let's start our climb up into the mountain forests of the Himalayas. Now up here, the rules are totally different. It's not about how far north or south you are. The climate and the plants change dramatically with your altitude. The higher you go, the colder it gets, and the forests just completely transform.
Just look at how the forest changes as we climb. Between about 1,000 and 2,000 meters, you're walking through tropical forests with oak and chestnut trees. Climb a bit higher, say between 1,500 and 3,000 meters, and you'll find yourself in this cool, coniferous zone with pine and fir. And if you push past 3,600 meters, the trees just disappear, making way for alpine grasslands and tundra right near the snow line. It's like traveling through totally different climate zones just by climbing a single mountain. And for our final stop on this tour, we're heading to the coast, to this really unique world where rivers meet the sea. These are the mangrove or tidal forests, and you find them in the marshy deltas of huge rivers like the Ganga and Mahanadi. The most famous of these, of course, is the Sundarbans, home to the Sundari tree, which is where the forest gets its name. These forests are masters of survival, adapted to live in both fresh and salt water.
So, we've seen what these forests are, but what do they actually give us? Let's dive into the incredible gifts they provide, everything from timber for our homes to traditional medicines.
You know, the connection between these forests and our daily lives is just huge. The furniture in your house, probably built from teak or sal. That fresh pine scent in your cleaner, that comes from turpentine. Perfumes often use fragrant sandalwood oil. And bamboo, well, that's used for everything from paper to baskets. And that's not even mentioning things like resin, gum, and honey. These forests are a source of countless products we rely on every single day.
But beyond just materials, the forest is like a vast natural pharmacy. India's ancient system of medicine, Ayurveda, has known this for centuries. For instance, sarpaganda is traditionally used for blood pressure, while almost everyone knows tulsi is a go-to remedy for colds and coughs. Even things like skin and dental problems have treatments that come from plants like karanj. It's a living library of healing compounds, really.
But the gifts of the forest go so much deeper than just products we can harvest. They're also our planet's green lungs, performing these life-sustaining services for us absolutely free of charge.
Let's be really clear about this. We simply could not live without them. Forests are the engines that keep our planet running. They help generate rain, they produce the oxygen we need to breathe, and they absorb the harmful carbon dioxide that drives climate change. Their roots hold the soil together, preventing catastrophic erosion and floods. They are absolutely 100% essential for a stable climate and a healthy planet.
And this brings us to our final and maybe most critical section. Since these forests are so vital, what's the challenge we're facing in preserving them? And what's the path forward?
According to India's National Forest Policy, which was set up way back in 1952, this is the magic number. For perfect ecological balance, the ideal goal is to have 33% of the country's entire geographical area covered in forest.
But here's where we see the gap between the goal and the reality. The target is 33%, but our actual forest cover is hovering at around 23%. That 10% gap represents a huge ecological deficit, and it really highlights the urgent challenge we have in front of us to restore and protect our green heritage.
So, what can we do? Well, the path forward has to be a multi-pronged attack. It starts with strong enforcement to shut down illegal logging. But just as important is getting the public involved through tree planting drives like Van Mahotsav. We also have to create awareness through education, get better at preventing destructive forest fires, and reduce our reliance on firewood by switching to renewable energy sources.
And with that, our expedition comes to a close. We've traveled from the rainforests to the high Himalayas, and we've seen just how deeply our lives are connected to these forests. So it leaves us with one final question to think about. Knowing just how much we rely on them for everything from clean air and water to countless resources, what role can each of us play in protecting this vital green heritage for all the generations to come?